If you're thinking about moving to Houston, Texas, and you want to buy a new construction home, there's a lot that you need to know. And after selling hundreds of homes right here in the Houston area and running a brokerage with 20 agents selling all across the Houston area, I thought I would condense everything that you could possibly want to know before buying a new construction home into one video. And that's this video. So let's dive in. The first thing that you need to know when you're looking to buy a new construction home is how these homes are categorized. It all comes down to price. At the end of the day, just like anything in life, the more that you have to spend, the more you can get. And so your starter homes, at least here in the Houston area, are gonna really start in those low $200,000 and they're gonna go up into the mid 300,000s. These are gonna be what we call production builders. Now, some of these production builders are going to allow you to pick things out, but all of your options are gonna be limited because at the end of the day, in order for these builders to deliver homes at these really low price points, they have to strip out options, they've gotta streamline their build process, they gotta build homes a little bit quicker, and ultimately all of that is to give you a great value. Now, whenever you move up over that 300,000, going up to that $700,000-800,000 price point, you're gonna start to get your semi-custom homes. And really what this means is that you're still working with a production builder, but that builder is gonna give you a little bit more options and a little bit more flexibility. And just like I said earlier, with money comes options. And so you're gonna have two different categories of homes that you can purchase, no matter what price point you're at, for give or take. And so you're going to have inventory homes, which are homes that the builder has already picked out the floor plan, they've already set them on a lot, and they've already picked everything out that goes into that home. And those inventory homes are homes that the builders are building before they have a buyer for that home. And typically speaking, you're gonna get a better deal on an inventory home, but you're not gonna get to pick everything out. So whenever you switch over and you do what we call a dirt build, you actually pick the floor plan, you can pick the lot, and then you can go to the design center and pick everything out. But unless you have impeccable self-control, which I don't personally, maybe you do, more than likely you're gonna spend a little bit more money going this route, and the builders are gonna charge you a little bit more because the home's not ready yet and they've got 9-10 months to sell that home. And so between that 350 number all the way up into around the 800, you're gonna get those semi-custom home options. And then really once you start to creep up around that $1 million mark, that's when you're gonna start getting your custom homes. And the sky is the limit. Anything over that $1 million mark, you're gonna be able to custom draw your own floor plans, pick your lots, build on your own lots, and ultimately build whatever kind of home it is that you want. Now, let's talk about lot sizes for a minute. So we're gonna use this book as an example. Anytime you go to either a builder neighborhood at those starter price points or even your larger master plan communities, lot sizes are gonna be determined by the front width of the lot. So we use this book as an example. Typically the smallest products you're gonna see in builder neighborhoods, like some of those starter home neighborhoods or master plan communities, is gonna be a 40-foot lot. And all that means, and this is probably a better way to do it, is that the front width of the lot is 40 feet wide. And so in order to fit a home on that lot, they're gonna have a 5-foot build line on each side, which is ultimately gonna make the home itself 30 feet wide. And so in those starter price points on those 40-foot lots, you're gonna see the homes are a lot more what I call shotgunny. They're a little bit skinnier, longer, skinnier. Now, they are building them with open concepts to open them up, but you're gonna see square footage is really starting at like 1,200 square feet. So that's how small that they can be on these 40-foot lots. But then in some of these bigger neighborhoods, some of these master plan communities, you'll see home lots that get a little bit wider, and they could be 80 feet wide, some even 100 feet wide. But I think the bread and butter of what you'll see in most master plan communities in that $500,000 to maybe that $800,000 price point is you're gonna see 50-foot to 65-foot lots, and those are really gonna be where the home starts to open up. Nothing feels tight, it feels nice and open, especially these main kitchen, living room, dining room areas. And then as you move over into the bedrooms, you're gonna start to see that they're opening up as well. You get bigger walk-in closets, you get more storage space, you get the 3-car garages, and it's all because it comes down to lot size. It ultimately is what defines the size home that they can put on that lot. So everyone's gonna fall in love with the model home, and for good reason. I mean, look around. It's got all of the bells and the whistles, but you fall in love with the model home, and then your home comes around and they just don't add up. Well, that is typically because the model homes are going to have all of the design center features that you could possibly add into a home, because really what they're wanting to do, they're not trying to deceive you, but they are trying to show you what that builder is capable of. But unfortunately, it can be deceptive. And so there are a couple questions that you need to ask when you are looking at a home to get a good idea of whether or not the home that you build is actually gonna turn out like this one. And so to give you an example, all builders are gonna give you a base price on a home, and then you're gonna go to the design center and do upgrades. So it's actually helpful to go over, if you're gonna do a dirt build, and look at one of their inventory homes and then ask the builder, hey, on this inventory home that's not the model, that doesn't have all these bells and whistles, how much did you spend in the design center? Because typically in that $500,000 to $700,000 range, an inventory home will have anywhere between $30,000 and $40,000 in the design center. Whereas this model home, if you asked how much they actually put into it, this one probably has somewhere between $110,000 to $120,000 in the design center. The floors alone in this home are $30,000. And so I don't want you to be deceived when you walk into model homes and fall in love with them. Now, I will say this. All builders are slightly different. Some builders will try to do an honest representation of their model home as far as what you would get in an inventory home, but others are gonna try to basically put their best foot forward. Now I'm sure you're asking the question, how do I get the best deal on new construction? I'm actually gonna show you that later on in this video. While we're out front of these houses, I wanted to explain what home elevations are. So obviously you can pick your floor plan when you build a home, and different builders are gonna have different floor plans. Some builders might only have 8 floor plans, and then other builders might have 40 to choose from. But within each floor plan, you're also gonna have home elevations. And so with one floor plan, you might have 4 to 5 different exterior elevations. And all that term means is the front configuration of the home. So that could mean the textures and the materials that they use, whether it's stucco, brick, or stone. And it also is gonna play a role in what the roof lines look like. Now, let's go inside and I wanna show you something else. Now, everyone loves to ask us which builder is the best builder. And I get why you want to ask that question, but ultimately, I think the better question is, which builder is best for you? All builders are going to do things a little bit differently. Some of them are going to price their homes differently. Some of them are going to build different types of floor plans. But ultimately, at the end of the day, within each community, let's just say there's 10 different builders, there might only be 3 or 4 to choose from based off of your budget. And so you might pick your community first, or you might pick a certain builder that you fall in love with. Right now, we're actually inside of Weston Homes, and I wanted to come in here because this is a great example of something that people fall in love with. We get clients calling us all the time that say, hey, what's that home with this staircase? And while it sounds funny and silly, you really don't get staircases like this in all of the different builders here in the Houston area. And so each builder is going to have something different to offer. And within a community, you might have a different goal. If you're a small family that wants to grow into a big family home, then you might want to get as much square footage as you can for the lowest possible price. Well, that's going to be one builder. Or you might be a retiree downsizing and you want to get a smaller footprint, but you want all of those bells and whistles. You want really, really high quality fit and finish in the home. And that's going to lead you to a different builder. So I wouldn't ask yourself the question, who is the best builder? I would ask yourself the question, who is the best builder for you? One of the most common questions that we get about new construction homes is whether or not you should or shouldn't use a realtor. And I wanted to nip that in the bud once and for all. So we are here with Bailey. Hi, Bailey.
Hi.
So Bailey works for a builder and you are a new home salesperson and I am a realtor. And our team, if you reach out to us, is a team of realtors. And we've got different jobs, don't we?
Yes.
What would you say is the difference between what a realtor does and then what a salesperson does for a builder?
Well, the main difference is realtors actually are able to work on a grander scale. You'll have more options with your clients versus us. We're kind of limited down to our floor plans. You'll also start at the beginning of their journey, whereas with us, we come in a little bit later in that process.
That's exactly right. Ultimately, realtors are actually going to start working earlier in the process with clients, and we're going to help you narrow down where exactly it is that you ultimately want to build. And then we're gonna connect you with a salesperson like Bailey with that builder, and we're gonna get to start building your home. Now, another common misconception that we get a lot of times from clients that are hesitant to reach out is they think they're gonna get a better deal negotiating with a builder if they don't have a realtor.
That's not true. Sometimes you can actually get a better deal working with a realtor.
And is that, in my experience, it comes from the relational equity that we have. We bring a lot of deals to y'all, and in exchange, y'all like working with realtors because it smooths out the process. Is that kind of what you've experienced?
Absolutely. It's super helpful for the client to have a realtor to give them a little bit more knowledge about the process as well.
You heard it here first. At the end of the day, you're gonna get the best possible deal working with a realtor because not only do we have great relationships with builders, but we're gonna be able to get you to the perfect builder for you, just like Bailey. Do you know what time it is? If it's your first time to our channel, then it's time that you go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell for notifications. That way we can keep you up to date on everything going on right here in Houston, Texas. My name's Kyler Ferris, and our team gets calls and texts and emails from people just like you looking to buy new construction homes right here in Houston, Texas. So if that is you, don't be shy. Just give us a call, shoot us a text, send us a quick email. That way we can help you make a smooth move right here to Houston, Texas, and connect you with builders just like Bailey. So I want to talk to you a little bit about whether or not to get an inspection when you're building a new construction home. This is a common question that we get, and there are actually 3 types of inspections that you can get when building a home. Now, I've already explained that you might contract on an inventory home that's already being built, or it could already be completed. But if you go all the way back to the beginning of the process, let's just say you contract on a home that's not built yet, there's 3 different inspections that you can get. The first is going to be a pre-slab inspection. This is where an inspector goes out and they actually look at the post-tension cables run in the foundation the day before they pour concrete. And they're gonna just make sure that the foundation is good to go before they continue to build the home. The second inspection that you're gonna be able to get is called a mechanical inspection, and they're gonna do this pre-drywall. So the day before they put the insulation in the home, your third-party inspector is gonna go out and they're gonna make sure that everything looks good behind the walls, the plumbing, the electrical, and everything in between, make sure that the home's framed properly. Then you're gonna have a final inspection, which is what you would get on a resale home. It's the same type of inspection. The inspector's gonna go through and they're gonna make sure everything looks great on the home. Now, do not assume that all of the builders are gonna build a perfect home. At the end of the day, there is a system of checks and balances, but it is up to you as the buyer to make sure that you are getting the home that you ultimately think you're paying for. And the only way you can really do that is to go out and hire a third-party inspector. So we definitely recommend doing that. Now, the good news is all new construction homes are gonna come with a new home warranty. Now, not all warranties are identical, but for the most part, what we typically see is what's called a 1, 2, 10 warranty. And that 1 is going to be, you've got 1 year on all cosmetic things like paint touch-ups, stuff like that. You get 2 years on your mechanicals, meaning your electrical and your plumbing, and then you get a 10-year home warranty on things that are structural, like the foundation, as well as the actual frame and structure of the home. And so this warranty, you're gonna be able to submit warranty requests if stuff happens in your home, which is very common. Something's bound to go wrong at some point with all homes. And it's great to have that home warranty kind of as that peace of mind, just to make sure that at the end of the day, the builder is standing behind the product that you're paying a lot of money for. All right, now it's time to tell you how to get the best deal. So everyone wants to know how to get the best deal on a new construction home. And there are a lot of variables, but I think it's important to start with the actual market. Depending on how the overall market is doing is going to dictate what kind of new construction deal that you can get. A couple years ago, when it was very easy for these builders to sell homes, at the end of the day, you'd walk in and the price was what the price was. It was very much a take it or leave it price. You weren't able to submit offers with builders, they weren't negotiating, and they really weren't offering any incentives. But as the market has shifted, and I don't know what time you're actually watching this video, but at the time we're filming it, it's very much shifted from the days of COVID. And what I mean by that is you can get deals right now. And there are a lot of variables involved, and I'm gonna walk you through them. So the first variable is going to be dictated by the actual builder that you choose to work with. What some builders will do is they will advertise very low prices, but then they don't negotiate very much with you. And so you go in and they might knock $10,000 or $20,000 off of the purchase price, whereas other builders leave their prices pretty inflated, and then you go in and you negotiate a deal and they'll knock $40,000, $50,000 off of the prices. But at the end of the day, the home is essentially gonna sell for what it's going to sell for. This builder just happens to have an inflated price, and this one just happens to have already cut some of the fat off of the ultimate sales price. Now, the other variable and the other incentive that builders are using is they will actually buy down your interest rates. And this is gonna vary from builder to builder, and it's gonna primarily depend on whether or not that builder has an in-house lender. So some of these bigger builders will have a lender partner. And that lender partner, because they do so much volume on these loans, will actually buy your interest rate down. And so if the interest rates are higher in the market that you're purchasing in, these builders are gonna be getting all of the buyers, because instead of getting an 8% interest rate on a resale home, you're actually gonna be able to get a 4, 5, or 6% fixed 30-year interest rate, because these lenders are buying down your interest rates. And that is one of the primary incentives that we're seeing right now that are allowing people to still purchase homes in a market with 8% interest rates. And then other builders are doing what we call flex incentives, where they essentially say, hey, we're gonna give you a $20,000 allowance and you can use it however you want. You can reduce that sales price, or you can go over here and you can buy down your interest rate, or you can go ahead and pay for your closing costs. And so if you're a cash buyer who doesn't have a loan, then you'd probably wanna use that incentive and just take it off of the sales price. But if you're a first-time home buyer, you're not putting down that much money and you wanna come out of pocket as little as possible, then what you'll probably do is you'll take that $20,000 incentive, and instead of taking it off of the sales price, you're probably gonna use it to pay your closing costs. That way you don't have to put that much money down when you actually purchase the home. Now that's how the incentives are structured, but how do you get the best deal? Well, obviously time is of the essence, but one critical factor in getting the best deals on homes is builders are always going to discount homes that are move-in ready. And so if you aren't too particular on exactly what kind of home you want, or you happen to get lucky and find an inventory home that you absolutely love and it's ready, jump on that. That's when you're gonna get the best deal, as opposed to building a home and picking everything out. The builder isn't gonna discount the price of a home that's not gonna be ready for 10 months, but they will discount the price of a home that's been sitting on the ground for 2 months and they need to clear out that inventory. And then another critical factor in getting a great deal is gonna be knowing when the builder's fiscal year ends. A lot of the builders' fiscal year ends at the end of the year, so in the end of December, which means if you contract about a month out before that, they are gonna be slashing prices. And at the time we're uploading this video, it just happens to be that time of year. So if you're watching this and this video was just uploaded, there is very much a great chance in this current market with 8% interest rates, with the end of the year coming up, with a lot of these builders' fiscal years ending, to jump on some insane deals. We're talking $30,000, $40,000 slashed off the price just as an incentive to get the homes to close before the end of the year. But if you're watching this and the year's already ended, there are actually some builders whose fiscal years end in March, there are some whose end in June, and having people like us who actually know all of the different builders, when their fiscal years end, what incentives they're offering, is ultimately going to be the hack that leads you to getting the best deal. The process of actually buying one of these new construction homes is exceptionally easy. From the time that you actually decide which builder you want to build with and identify the home that you're wanting to build, all you do is put down earnest money and sign a contract with that builder. And then from there, it's just the waiting game. It seems like there would be a lot involved in the process. And if you're building from scratch, yes, you're gonna go to the design center and you're gonna pick everything out. And that can be time consuming depending on who you are. Some people pick them out in a couple hours and some people take weeks. But once you're through selecting all of the fit and finish of the home, it's a waiting game. Once the home's completed, you're gonna have a final walkthrough about a week before closing. You're gonna go through the home with us as your realtor, as a second set of eyes, and we're gonna go through the home and make sure everything looks great. We're gonna put blue tape wherever we need to mark the home, and then the builder is gonna go to work in making sure that that home is exactly like you want it to be for your closing in a week. And during this time, this is when you would get your final inspection as well. We would turn that report over to the builder, and then we would close on the home. And then if you're getting a loan, you're gonna go to the escrow company or the title company, you're gonna sign the paperwork, and you're gonna get keys to your new home. And it really is that simple. There's still a lot more to know about new construction, but we actually find that most clients don't start by picking their builder. They typically start by narrowing down what area of town it is that they want to look in. And the best way that you can start narrowing down what part of town it is that you wanna be in is to go ahead and watch our top 10 Houston suburbs video. And if you are thinking about making a move here or wanna buy new construction, do not be shy. Like we always say, just give us a call, shoot us a text, send us a quick email. That way we can help you make a smooth move right here to Houston, Texas.